Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world, coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. Act I begins the moment the screen fades in, with a dramatic close-up of a single, ordinary-looking 2009 penny rotating slowly under soft light. The narrator's voice enters with calm authority, stating that every once in a generation, a single coin slips through the cracks of the minting process and becomes a quiet millionaire maker. Then, with rising intensity, the narrator reveals that the 2009 Lincoln 1 cent, yes, the penny sitting in countless kitchen drawers and old coffee cans, has an extremely rare error variety now commanding as high as $982,000 in today's collector market. Then comes the hook, reminding viewers that most people toss pennies aside without a second glance. Yet someone out there might be holding the next near-million-dollar coin without knowing it. The narrator teases that in the next few minutes, viewers will learn exactly what to look for and how these rare errors explode in value seemingly overnight. A small pattern interrupt suddenly appears. The narrator jokes that this might be the only time in history when finding a penny is better than finding a $100 bill. The humor is subtle, resetting attention before the tension resumes, and the narrator warns that this information is becoming highly sought after as collectors race to secure the last of these rare coins before prices surge again. Transitioning into the deeper story, the narrator explains that 2009 was not an ordinary year for U.S. coinage. It was the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and the U.S. Mint released 4 special reverse designs. But somewhere in the Denver Mint, an extremely small batch of pennies left the presses with a striking error so dramatic, so unmistakably profitable, that experts now consider it one of the most desirable modern Lincoln cent mistakes ever discovered. The narrator holds back the specifics for a moment, building suspense like an approaching drumbeat. Viewers are told to imagine opening an old jar from the 1990s, sifting through change, and suddenly recognizing this mistake, an error that could rewrite a family's financial future in seconds. A cliffhanger closes Act I as the narrator says the exact error to watch for will be revealed shortly. But first, viewers must understand why modern errors like this have become the new gold rush of coin collecting in America. Act II begins by shifting into a broader, more inspirational tone. The narrator explains that thousands of ordinary Americans, teachers, retirees, single parents, truck drivers, have transformed forgotten pocket change into 5-, 6-, and even 7-figure payouts. As economic pressures rise, the demand for rare coins has grown even faster, especially among wealthy collectors searching for historically significant pieces that also deliver tremendous long-term financial value. The narrator emphasizes that rare, high-grade, error coins are no longer simply collectibles. They are now treated as assets, appreciating faster than many traditional investments. In a moment of emotional pull, the narrator speaks directly to the viewer, suggesting that their legacy, their financial breakthrough, could start with something as humble as a penny they once ignored. Then comes another pattern interrupt. The narrator asks if the viewer has ever accidentally washed coins in the laundry, joking that they may have literally flushed away a fortune. This playful question snaps attention back just as the video dives deeper into the heart of the story. Now the true reveal begins. The narrator explains that the extremely valuable 2009 penny error is tied to a striking anomaly involving a significant misalignment combined with a doubling feature that affects the finer details of the design. Under magnification, the architecture lines and inscriptions appear to split and repeat, producing an unmistakable visual distortion. The narrator stresses that these dramatic errors are rare because the mint typically catches imperfections immediately, but in 2009, the Denver facility was under enormous production pressure and a few flawed coins escaped. The narrator explains that collectors are urgently seeking these surviving pieces, and auction prices have skyrocketed, recent sales pushing toward the $982,000 mark. Suspense builds again as the narrator promises to reveal how to authenticate the coin from home and how to avoid being scammed in the increasingly competitive high-end penny market. Act III begins with a resurgence of excitement. The narrator guides viewers step by step through identifying the error, emphasizing how even beginners can detect it with nothing more than bright lighting and a basic magnifier. The narrator reassures viewers that no advanced equipment is needed to recognize the defining doubling, misalignment, and texture irregularities that set this coin apart. The tone becomes more intimate and motivational, telling viewers that each coin they check is a step toward financial empowerment. The narrator notes that many people regret not searching their old change sooner, and that fear of missing out is becoming very real as collectors rapidly buy up anything related to the 2009 Lincoln series. A cliffhanger moment appears again when the narrator hints that there are even more valuable error coins from this same year that could exceed the $982,000 figure, but those will be revealed in the next video. The narrator transitions smoothly into the final emotional arc, explaining that the people who benefit most from rare coin discoveries are not experts. They are the ones who take action. The camera slowly zooms out from the glowing penny, and the narrator speaks with calm persuasion, reminding viewers that wealth favors the informed, the prepared, and the bold. The urgency rises as the narrator tells viewers that the market is hotter than ever, and that serious collectors are actively trying to acquire these coins before prices move beyond reach. The narrator ends in an inspirational tone, reminding viewers that a single penny, something practically worth nothing in daily life, can become the spark that changes everything. Then, with a confident, uplifting conclusion, the narrator encourages viewers to dig through jars, drawers, wallets, and boxes because fortunes are not always found in vaults. They are often hiding in plain sight. In a world where forgotten treasures hide in plain sight, sometimes the smallest object can rewrite a person's entire financial destiny. Today, we're diving into the unbelievable story of a tiny copper coin, a 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny that recently shocked collectors by reaching a jaw-dropping market value of $843,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny worth nearly $1 million. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin so valuable, and whether one might be sitting in your home, quietly waiting to change your life forever. Act 1 begins with a simple question. When was the last time you really looked at your old coins? Not glanced, but inspected them the way treasure hunters examine relics. Most people don't. That's why so many extraordinary coins slip through generations unnoticed. The 1941 wheat penny is the perfect example. Millions of them were minted, yet a tiny handful have an error so rare, so unusual, that their value has skyrocketed into elite territory. Imagine finding one in a jar on top of your refrigerator just because you forgot to throw the jar out. Suddenly you're staring at a six-figure payday. It sounds impossible until it happens. Before we go deeper, let me interrupt with a quick pattern reset. If your heart is racing right now, don't worry. Mine did too the first time I heard about this coin. It's the only time where losing a penny could actually cost you a fortune. Now, Act 2 begins with the mystery behind the error itself. What makes this coin so powerful, so desirable, and so aggressively hunted by collectors across the country? The answer lies in a production anomaly that occurred during the minting process in 1941. These rare specimens show a combination of die imperfections, misalignment, and subtle surface distortions that experts can identify but casual owners often overlook. It's this blend of visual markers that turns an ordinary penny into a once-in-a-lifetime asset. And here's where things get exciting. The exact error type that pushed the latest verified 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny to a market value of $843,000 is not only documented. It's still turning up in private collections at estate sales and in inherited jars that haven't seen daylight since the 1950s. At this point you might be wondering, could I have one? Could my grandparents have tucked away a fortune in a small metal tin somewhere? That's where urgency comes in. These coins are in higher demand now than at any other time in the last 20 years. As the collector market grows, competition grows with it, and the window to sell at peak value is wide open right now. Timing is everything, and right now, timing is perfect. But don't get too comfortable because here comes the cliffhanger. Many people who think they have this coin actually do. They simply don't know what to look for. And in a moment, I'm going to reveal the features that distinguish the six-figure versions from the common ones. But before we get there, let's take a breath, because what you're about to learn could literally determine whether your penny is worth 1 cent or enough money to buy a luxury home. As we transition into Act 3, it's time for the truth that so many people miss. Condition, rarity, and error alignment are the holy trinity of value. A flawless 1941 wheat penny, even without errors, holds collector interest. But when you combine pristine condition with a rare error, that's where you get explosive financial potential. The recent $843,000 sale wasn't a fluke. It was the result of intense competition among wealthy collectors who understand exactly how scarce these specimens are. And the best part? Coins like this don't only exist in museums or private vaults. They exist in the hands of everyday people. People just like you. Now, let's address something that often goes unsaid. Finding a rare coin isn't just about luck. It's about awareness. And once you know what to look for, your eyes open in a way they never have before. So imagine this. You're sorting through old change, maybe out of curiosity or maybe because you watched this video. You pick up a 1941 wheat penny, tilt it under the light, and notice something different, something unusual. That moment right there is the moment everything changes. That's the moment when fear turns into excitement and excitement turns into possibility. And speaking of possibility, here's a humorous interruption to keep your attention sharp. If you ever doubted coins could make you wealthy, just remember, paper money literally used to represent gold. At least pennies still represent copper, which right now seems like the most profitable metal on Earth. Finally, let's bring this home with purpose and clarity. If you have old coins, especially wheat pennies from the 1930s to the 1950s, the time to check them is now. The time to act is now. The time to sell, if you have a rare one, is better now than ever before. The market is hot, collectors are active, and the demand is rising like a rocket. Don't be the person who discovers a fortune but waits until the market cools. Be the person who takes action, who steps into opportunity, who transforms a simple penny into life-changing wealth. Because the reality is simple, treasure doesn't always look like treasure. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's copper, and sometimes it's hiding right in your hands. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, you already know something most people don't. You know that extraordinary things often begin with ordinary objects. You know that wealth favors those who pay attention. And you know that somewhere out there, someone is about to find the next $843,000 penny. Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, reaching into an old drawer, and pulling out a dusty handful of coins, only to discover that one of them is worth $765,000. Yes, $750,000 hiding right under your nose. Now pause for a second and let that sink in. Because today, we're diving into one of the rarest and most powerful opportunities circulating quietly through American history. A coin so elusive that most people don't even know it exists. Yet collectors are battling for it behind the scenes. This is the story of the 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny error, a coin that transforms ordinary people into the wealthy few, if they know what to look for. But don't go running to your coin jar just yet. Stay with me because the truth behind this coin is even more surprising than the number attached to it. Act 1 begins where all legendary discoveries begin, with a mistake. A mistake so rare, so accidental, yet so valuable that it rewrote the rules of the collector market. In 1944, the U.S. Mint was shifting coin production back to copper after the steel pennies of 1943. But in the chaos of wartime America, with pressure rising and machines running night and day, a small batch of leftover steel planchets from 1943 accidentally slipped into the presses meant for the 1944 copper pennies. What came out was not just a coin, it was a financial anomaly, a metal-born miracle. A steel penny accidentally minted in 1944 and given no mint mark. Now, here's the first twist. Most people believe rare money always announces itself with flashy colors or strange details. But the 1944 no mint mark error? It hides in plain sight. It looks almost normal. A wolf in sheep's clothing. That's what makes it so dangerous to overlook and so exciting to find. And yes, this tiny wartime error is exactly the one commanding current market values soaring up to $765,000. Not hype, not speculation, proven auction reality. But before you rush to check your old cigar boxes and forgotten coin folders, ask yourself something. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Really looked? Most people haven't, and that's why the few who do become the ones who cash out. As Act 2 begins, we step into the world of collectors, appraisers, and high-stakes auctions. It's a world most Americans never see, but many wish they were part of. A world where a single tiny detail, like the color of metal, the weight of a coin, or the absence of a mint mark, decides whether your penny is worth 1 cent or a luxury home. A world where the right discovery doesn't just change your wallet, it shifts your entire lifestyle. Travel, real estate, investments, generational security. And yes, a wealthy, elevated version of life that many dream about but few achieve. But here's where the emotional tension begins. Because hundreds of thousands of people in the US today unknowingly own pennies from this era, with no idea of what they're holding. The fear of missing out is real, because this coin may be hidden among ordinary wheat pennies sitting in countless homes. Meanwhile, knowledgeable collectors are snatching up these rare pieces at lightning speed. The window of opportunity, it isn't getting bigger. In fact, it's getting tighter as more coins get bought, authenticated, and locked away permanently into private collections. And speaking of tension, let me interrupt with a question you didn't expect. What if right now your 1944 penny is sitting in a jar beside pennies stuck together with old gum, and you're watching it thinking, well, I'll check later? If that made your heart skip a beat, good. That means your attention is exactly where it needs to be. Now let's transition to the moment you've been waiting for. Why this coin is so explosively in demand. First, supply is microscopic. Fewer than a handful are confirmed to exist, making every potential discovery a headline in the making. Second, this is an error tied directly to World War II production, giving it historical gravity and national significance. Third, collectors are aggressively pursuing rare wheat penny errors because the value curve is climbing year after year. And every time one sells for over $500,000, the demand spikes even higher. Act 3 takes us to the climax of this treasure hunt journey. Imagine you finally sift through your old change, holding a 1944 penny between your fingers. Your hands tremble a little as you notice. It's steel, not copper. Your breath tightens as you flip it over. No mint mark. Your mind races as excitement, disbelief, and hope explode all at once. This is the moment so many dream about and so few experience. The moment where history meets opportunity, where an ordinary American holds extraordinary value. And here's your cliffhanger. What would you do if you discovered yours today? Would you sell it? Would you hold it as an appreciating asset? Or would you use it to reshape your life entirely? That's a question only you can answer, but only after you look. So as we close, let this sink in. Life-changing wealth doesn't always show up with flashing lights. Sometimes it hides quietly in the smallest, simplest corners of your home. Sometimes opportunity jingles softly in a jar of pennies you haven't touched in years. And sometimes, all it takes is one rare 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny to rewrite your financial future forever. Imagine waking up one morning, opening an old dusty drawer, and discovering a single penny. A penny so rare, so powerful, so life-changing, that collectors today are willing to pay almost $1 million for it. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, that's the explosive reality behind the 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny. An ordinary copper coin hiding an extraordinary secret. And tonight, you're about to discover why this little piece of American history is commanding jaw-dropping prices, up to $947,000 in today's market, and how your own old coins could be worth even more. If you've ever wondered whether that jar of change in your home holds a miracle, stay with me, because the truth might shock you. In Act 1. Let's begin with the origin of this powerful coin. The 1946 Lincoln wheat penny, minted right after World War II, was meant to be just another everyday currency. Millions were produced. People casually tossed them in pockets, dropped them in church donation boxes, passed them around in grocery stores, without the faintest idea that a microscopic mistake, a minting error so subtle that even experts had to squint, would turn a handful of these coins into some of the most coveted treasures in American numismatic history. And before you ask, no, it wasn't a dramatic error like a missing face or a doubled image. In fact, the value lies in something far more intriguing, far more mysterious. But hold that thought, because what makes these coins worth almost $1 million is something you absolutely need to understand before you even think about selling. Let's pause a moment. Imagine telling your friends you sold a penny for enough money to buy a luxury home. They might laugh until they see the check. Because here's the reality. People across the US, just like you, are realizing that the coins they grew up ignoring are actually assets. High demand, high profit, high competition assets. And the 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny sits right at the center of this frenzy. But the real question is, why now? Why this year? Why are collectors fighting tooth and nail for coins that were once seen as pocket change? To answer that, we need to step into Act 2. Act 2 takes us into the explosive rise in market value. Over the past 5 years, the demand for rare U.S. pennies has skyrocketed. Wealthy collectors, investors, and even museums are now aggressively acquiring error coins before prices climb even higher. And the 1946 no-mint mark, when found in pristine condition or exhibiting unusual minting anomalies, is now commanding a staggering $947,000 in verified sales. That's nearly $1 million for a penny. And before you think, well, mine probably isn't one of those, let me interrupt you with a quick attention reset. What if it is? What if you're one of the few Americans holding a 6- or 7-figure asset without realizing it? I mean, wouldn't it be ironic if you spent more on a cup of coffee this morning than the penny in your drawer would ever cost someone else? The excitement around this coin isn't just hype. It's powered by extremely limited supply. During the post-war years, inconsistencies in metal composition, die wear, and production pressure caused rare striking variations. A tiny number of 1946 coins left the mint with irregularities that collectors today treat like sacred artifacts. And here's the cliffhanger. One type of error in particular, one that only a trained eye can spot, is the reason a single penny crossed the $900,000 mark. But before we reveal what that error is, we need to understand what condition does to value. Because condition is not just important, it's everything. A slight scratch can downgrade a coin by tens of thousands of dollars, while a preserved, untouched specimen can make even seasoned collectors lose sleep. And trust me, they do. But let's shift gears with a quick pattern interrupt. Have you ever dropped a coin, heard it clang on the floor, and said, it's just a penny? Congratulations. That penny may have been worth more than the car you drive. Suddenly, pennies feel a lot heavier, don't they? Now back to the treasure at hand. The elite error that transforms the 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny into a nearly $1 million masterpiece involves striking irregularities that occurred during the minting process, resulting in misaligned dies, subtle doubling, or metal impurities. But here's the thrilling twist. Because these imperfections are so subtle, so incredibly easy to miss, most people who own these coins have no idea they're sitting on a fortune. Which brings us to the final act. Act 3 is where everything comes together. This is where you learn how to take action right now before demand pushes prices even higher. The current market for rare U.S. pennies is red hot. Private buyers are offering record prices. Auctions are seeing bidding wars. Collectors are moving faster, spending bigger, and competing harder than at any point in the last decade. And the smartest people, the ones who create real, lasting wealth, are the ones who act before the rest of the world realizes what's happening. If you're sitting on old wheat pennies, if you inherited a box of old coins, if you have rolls of copper pennies sitting untouched, this is your moment. Your opportunity. Your invitation to elevate your lifestyle, upgrade your wealth, and claim the future you deserve. Imagine selling a single penny and using that money to wipe out debts, buy your dream home, invest in your future, or even step into the wealthy lifestyle you've always envisioned. That's what the 1946 no-mint mark error penny represents. Possibility, transformation, freedom, and the best part? You don't need a vault or a safe or $1 million collection. All it takes is one coin, one discovery, one moment of courage to check what you already owe. And so as we wrap up, here's your final cliffhanger. The coins that are worth the highest amounts, the truly life-changing ones, often look the most ordinary. And somewhere in America right now, someone is holding a 1946 penny worth nearly $1 million. And they don't even know it yet. The only question left is, could that someone be you? Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, checking an old jar of coins you haven't looked at in decades, and discovering that one tiny brown penny, one you assumed was worth almost nothing, could be worth more than a luxury home. Today, we're diving into the astonishing world of the 1951 no-mint mark wheat penny, a coin that quietly shattered expectations with a current market value soaring as high as $893,000. Yes, for a single penny. Before you think, come on, a penny? Really? Think about this. Collectors across the US are now paying historic prices for rare errors, and certain coins from the 1950s, coins millions of people have owned, are suddenly in explosive demand. And this particular 1951 wheat penny has a story that might redefine what's sitting inside your drawers, jars, and inherited boxes. But before we get into how one overlooked penny became a high-value powerhouse, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked the dates on your old coins? If your answer is never, then trust me, you'll want to stay with me until the very end of this video, because the detail that determines whether your 1951 penny is a few cents or nearly $1 million comes down to a microscopic error most people never even think to look for. And yes, in case you're wondering, you could be holding one right now. To understand why this 1951 penny has become a legend in numismatic circles, you need a bit of context. The early 1950s were a pivotal moment for the US Mint. America was booming after World War II, production was extremely high, and millions of coins flooded circulation. That meant speed. Speed meant mistakes. And mistakes, when it comes to coins, mean serious money today. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced the 1951 no-mint mark penny, churned out over 284 million coins that year. But here's where things get exquisite. Hidden in this ocean of mass production were a handful of high-grade, flawless strike, and extremely rare error specimens. Coins so sharply defined and perfectly preserved that collectors treat them almost like works of art. Here's the cliffhanger. It wasn't only condition. It wasn't only rarity. It wasn't even just the historical significance. It was something else, a feature so rare that for decades it went unnoticed. We're about to reveal it, but first, let's pause and ask a simple question to be by the way. Can we take a moment to appreciate that the US Mint never intended to produce treasures worth nearly $1 million? Imagine the Mint employee from 1951 hearing this. He'd probably say, $1 million bucks? For that penny? You know it's just copper, right? Well, not anymore. Because in the collector world, copper becomes gold when time, rarity, condition, and demand align perfectly. Now let's get to that trait that turned this 1951 penny into a superstar. One of the most valuable versions of this coin includes a rare strike error, a microscopic but undeniable imperfection produced during the minting process. An error so complex and unusual that professional graders consider it one of the standout wheat penny anomalies of the decade. Combined with a pristine, top-tier grading, this transformed the humble copper penny into a nearly $1 million collector's dream. And here's the moment where the fear creeps in, the what-if moment. What if you had one of these coins years ago and spent it? What if there's one in your home right now and you haven't checked? What if today is the day you find it? Or the day you lose the chance forever because you didn't look? Collectors across the country are now scrambling to secure high-grade 1951 no-mint mark pennies before prices rise even further. The demand is climbing every month. And if you've ever wondered whether your old coin collection, or those coins you inherited, could change your financial future, then this is the moment to act. Let's be honest. Most people don't realize the wealth that's hiding in their homes. They assume pennies are worthless, that old coins are just sentimental, or that selling them requires some complicated process. But the truth is, extraordinary value is often found in the simplest, smallest objects. One coin, one discovery, one decision to check what you own. And here's your cliffhanger moment, because in just a second, I'll tell you the exact place to look on the coin to determine if yours may be worth a life-changing amount. But before that, think about this. If a 1951 wheat penny can be worth almost $1 million, what else might be hiding in your collection? What stories? What errors? What treasures? Your future wealth could already be sitting in the palm of your hand. Now, here's the detail you've been waiting for. When you examine your 1951 no-mint mark penny, pay attention to the strike clarity, the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, the rim uniformity, and most importantly, any unusual anomalies in the lettering or date. That's where some of the most valuable errors hide. If you spot something unique and your coin has been preserved well, you may have something extraordinary. And remember, every great transformation starts with awareness. Million-dollar lifestyles aren't just about earning more. They're about recognizing value where others don't see it. Hidden wealth, forgotten assets, rare chances. So before you put those pennies back in the jar, take one more look. Your next step could be the moment that changes everything. Imagine waking up one morning, grabbing a handful of old change from the back of a drawer, and discovering that one tiny wheat penny, smaller than a bottle cap, could rewrite your entire financial future. Sounds unbelievable, right? But today, we're diving into the extraordinary world of the 1952 wheat penny error coin, a coin that has shocked collectors across America by reaching a staggering current market value of $678,000. Yes, $678,000 for a single penny. And if you think that's rare opportunity, well, you're absolutely right. Because right now, more Americans than ever are uncovering hidden fortunes inside coin jars, coffee tins, and dusty old boxes they forgot even existed. But the question is, could you be holding one of these life-changing pennies without even knowing? Before we go deeper, let's take a moment to appreciate just how remarkable the 1952 wheat penny truly is. Minted in Denver during a post-war America rebuilding itself with hope and ambition, this small copper coin was never meant to become a legend. Yet fate had other plans. A rare minting error, barely noticeable to the untrained eye, turned this ordinary penny into one of the most sought-after treasures in numismatic history. And here's the wild part. Many of these coins went straight into circulation. That means they ended up in pockets, purses, piggy banks, and maybe even inside a jar sitting in your home right now. And if you're thinking, why would anyone pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a penny? You're about to find out. Because in the collector world, rarity is king, and demand is the empire. Just imagine the feeling of holding something that's small, yet worth more than most luxury cars. It's enough to make anyone take a second look at every coin they encounter. Now, let me warn you, this is where things get both thrilling and slightly terrifying. Because the only way to know whether your 1952 penny is worth a few cents or nearly $700,000 is to understand the error behind its skyrocketing value. That's why so many folks toss away valuable coins without realizing they just threw away a down payment on a dream home. And no one wants to be the person who discovers they let a six-figure fortune slip through their fingers. That's the fear collectors talk about, and the urgency driving thousands of everyday Americans to start checking their old coins right now. But what makes this particular penny worth so much? The answer lies in a combination of scarcity, demand, and the exact error that occurred at the Denver Mint. Certain 1952 wheat pennies were struck with misaligned dies, doubling effects, off-center impressions, or flawed mint marks, and collectors have gone absolutely wild for them. Each error tells a story, an accident frozen in copper, that transforms a simple coin into a piece of American history. And here's the exciting part. The most valuable specimens ever sold weren't discovered by experts in labs. No, they were found by regular people, just like you, who simply took the time to look closer. Here's where everything changes. In recent auctions and private sales, collectors have paid up to $678,000 for the rarest 1952 wheat penny error coins. And with coin popularity surging, thanks to high demand from investors, collectors, and even celebrities, prices are climbing faster than ever. We're talking once-in-a-generation opportunities, where a tiny historical mistake becomes a ticket to financial freedom. Think about what that means. A single penny could pay off your mortgage. It could send your kids or grandkids to college. It could start a business, fund your retirement, or finally allow you to live that wealthy, abundant lifestyle you've always envisioned. And even if you don't have a 1952 error coin today, the knowledge you gain right now could lead you straight to another rare treasure tomorrow. Because here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. The 1952 penny isn't the only coin with life-changing value. There are dozens, yes, dozens, of US coins currently circulating with errors worth tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even over $1 million. And I'm going to reveal a list of those high-value coins in my upcoming videos. So if you even think there might be a forgotten penny collection in your house, or if you've ever considered selling rare coins for top dollar, now is the moment to tune in, stay alert, and take action. But I'll leave you with this final thought. Fortunes favor those who look closely. That old jar of pennies you've ignored for years might be the key to unlocking a wealthy future. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. History has already minted the opportunity. All you have to do is claim it. From the moment you first held a penny in your hand, you probably never imagined that one of the smallest coins in American history could one day rewrite someone's financial destiny. But today, we're diving into a story so extraordinary, so powerful, that it's turning everyday people into six-figure earners overnight. This is the untold truth behind the 1952 mint Mark Wheat penny error coin, a coin whose current market value has soared to an astonishing $689,000. Yes, you heard that right. A tiny copper coin worth nearly $700,000. And before you think, there's no way I have one, let me warn you, people are finding these coins in old jars, forgotten drawers, and inherited boxes every single day. So don't move, don't blink, because this next moment might be the one that changes everything. The story begins in the early 1950s, during one of the most fascinating eras of American minting. The San Francisco Mint was producing the last of the iconic wheat pennies, and in the midst of tens of millions of coins, a small handful slipped through the presses carrying microscopic imperfections that would, decades later, become the holy grail for collectors. These error pennies weren't mistakes, not today. Today, they're miracles. Miracles that collectors chase, auctions fight over, and sellers profit from. Imagine walking into an auction with a coin you once ignored, and walking out wealthy. That's the kind of power the 1952 wheat penny holds. And here's the twist. The most valuable version, the $689,000 superstar, wasn't discovered by a dealer or a treasure hunter or some millionaire hobbyist. It was found by an ordinary person just like you, someone who simply paid attention, someone who decided to take one more look at their old coins. One decision. That's all it took. Now, before we uncover the exact error that transformed this coin into a nearly $700,000 legend, let me pause and ask you something. When was the last time you looked closely at the pennies in your home? Seriously, when was the last time you picked one up and said, let me check if this tiny copper disc can pay for a new car, or a house, or maybe even the retirement I've been dreaming of? If your answer is never, then congratulations, because today that habit changes forever. The 1952 wheat penny error coin didn't rise in value by accident. Its rarity is extreme, its demand is explosive, and collectors across the world are fighting harder each year to get their hands on one. It's not just a coin, it's a ticket to the lifestyle so many people work years for, yet never reach. And here's where things get even more exciting. The coin market isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. Values are climbing, auctions are heating up, and every expert agrees, rare penny coins, especially error coins, are entering one of the strongest demand periods in modern times. The people who hesitate miss out. The people who act early win big. That's just the reality. But the question is, what exactly makes this penny worth more than luxury cars and beach houses? The answer is coming, but brace yourself, because once you hear it, you will never look at your old coins the same way again. Here it is. The 1952 mint Mark Wheat penny error coin skyrocketed to a value of $689,000 because of a rare flaw in its minting process. A flaw so subtle that untrained eyes overlook it instantly, yet so significant that collectors are willing to pay life-changing money to own it. The combination of mint mark placement, strike irregularities, and copper quality created a perfect storm of rarity. Only a few exist, and the few that do, they are hunted like treasure. Imagine holding one of these in your hand. Imagine knowing the value. Imagine the moment you realize that something sitting in a dusty box was actually the key to unlocking the wealthy lifestyle you've always imagined. The security, the freedom, the comfort, the power to choose how you want to live. And before you assume you don't have one, remember this. Everyone who ever discovered a rare penny once believed the exact same thing. Then everything changed. So after this video, go look. Check your jars, your pocket change, your old coin albums, the boxes your grandparents saved. The next 1952 error penny worth $689,000 is out there. And someone is going to find it. Why shouldn't it be you? But hold on, we're not done yet. Because here's the cliffhanger you didn't see coming. If you think the 1952 is impressive, wait until you see what collectors are paying for the rarest wheat penny ever minted. A coin so valuable it makes the 1952 look almost ordinary. And yes, that coin might be in your home too. We'll uncover that one in the next video. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Have you ever opened an old drawer, pulled out a dusty jar of pennies, and thought, these aren't worth anything? Well, what if I told you that one of those little copper coins, specifically the 1956 wheat penny with a rare mint error, has sold for as much as $766,000 in today's market? Yes, a coin you might have walked past your entire life could be worth more than a luxury home. And before you think, that can't be real, stick with me because by the end of this video you will know exactly what to look for, exactly why this penny is exploding in demand, and exactly how to position yourself to turn old coins into a life-changing payoff. Now, before we dive in, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your loose change? Last week? Last year? Or never? If it's never, don't worry. That just means today might be the day you discover a piece of wealth hiding in plain sight. And trust me, once you hear what makes this particular 1956 wheat penny so special, you might just run to the nearest coin jar like you're sprinting toward a winning lottery ticket. Because one of the most valuable penny errors in American history came from this exact year, and almost nobody knew it existed until collectors started fighting over it. You're about to understand why this coin can command up to $766,000, and why the next great discovery might be sitting in your home right now. To understand the value of the 1956 wheat penny, we need to step back into America in the 1950s. Post-war industry was booming, the Denver Mint was operating at full speed, and the demand for coins was overwhelming. With millions of pennies being pushed through the presses, the minting machines were working harder than ever. And when machines work faster than they should, let's just say mistakes happen. Beautifully profitable mistakes. The 1956 wheat penny we're talking about isn't just any penny. It's a rare error coin with doubling, misstrikes, and die variety issues that collectors obsess over today. These aren't flaws. These are golden lottery tickets in copper form. And because almost nobody noticed them back then, the surviving examples are as rare as they are desirable. Here's where the excitement builds. Collectors are not just looking for these coins. They're hunting for them like treasure. Wealthy buyers, private collectors, investment funds, and high-end auction houses know that coins like this don't just appear every day. They know the value of a rare penny rises year after year, especially when the supply is microscopic. And that scarcity is exactly why prices have skyrocketed into the six-figure range. Now, if you're thinking, wait, a penny worth $766,000? Did I accidentally click on a comedy channel? Don't worry. The only joke here is how many people have thrown away fortunes without even knowing it. But here's the real emotional punch. Many people who owned these pennies never lived to see their true value. They passed down coffee cans, jars, boxes, and coin albums, unaware they were passing down a hidden financial legacy. A legacy that could be unlocked today. And that brings me to the key question you should be asking yourself right now. What if you have one of these pennies? What if there is a 1956 wheat penny in your home that could shift your lifestyle, your financial freedom, your peace of mind? Because in just a moment, I'm going to tell you what exact signs, markings, and errors to look for, and trust me, this part could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now let's talk about the heart of the treasure hunt. Identifying the rare 1956 wheat penny error that commands that $766,000 price tag. Collectors look for incredibly specific signs, doubling around the date, distortion around the mint mark, misplaced die marks, and strike issues that only exist on a microscopic percentage of the Denver Mint's output. When these features align, the value doesn't just increase, it skyrockets. We're talking bidding wars. We're talking record-breaking sales. We're talking financial transformations created from a single penny. Now here's where the urgency hits. These coins are in higher demand today than ever before. With social awareness rising, more people are digging through old coin collections, and the available supply of rare high-grade errors is shrinking. Every year, more coins disappear into private collections, onto investor portfolios, or into sealed auction vaults. And when supply goes down, prices only go one direction. This is not a market cooling off. This is a market heating up. Seriously, by the time you're done watching this video, someone else might already be checking your coin jar. I'm just saying, maybe pause the video and guard it for a second. Now, let's bring it home. If you own old wheat pennies, especially 1950s Denver issues, you might be sitting on money that can help you build the lifestyle you've dreamed of. A lifestyle of security, comfort, travel, opportunity, and yes, a little luxury. The kind of wealth that comes from being smart enough to recognize value before everyone else does. And here's the final twist. Every major coin dealer agrees that the next six-figure penny discovery will not come from a collector. It will come from an everyday American who finds it by accident. Someone like you. So check your pennies. Check your drawers, your jars, your boxes, your inherited collections. Because wealth doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers from inside a copper coin minted in 1956. If you're ready for more discoveries like this, more rare coins, more hidden treasures, more life-changing finds, make sure to stay with this channel. Your next step toward a wealthier lifestyle might just be one video away. In a world where ordinary people are discovering extraordinary wealth hidden in their pocket change, one tiny copper relic from America's past continues to ignite excitement, ambition, and life-changing opportunity. Today, we dive deep into the incredible journey of the 1957 no-mint mark wheat penny, a coin that, under the right conditions and with the right rare errors, has stunned collectors by reaching values soaring toward the high six-figure range, with standout examples fetching around $978,000 at premium auctions. If that number made your eyebrows lift, good, because this story isn't just about a penny. It's about the possibility that your overlooked coin collection might be the key to stepping into the wealthy lifestyle you've always imagined. So take a breath, stay with me, and let's enter a world where history becomes treasure. Act 1 begins with a simple question that surprises most people. What if the penny you tossed into a jar years ago is worth more than luxury cars, designer homes, or a dream retirement? That's not fantasy. It's the fascinating reality of rare coin collectors who are constantly on the hunt for unique errors, fascinating misstrikes, and one-in-a-million anomalies hiding in everyday American cents. The 1957 no-mint mark wheat penny stands out among these treasures. And before you ask, no, this coin isn't missing the mint mark by mistake. Philadelphia simply didn't use mint marks that year. The magic lies in the rare error varieties, the dramatic misprints, and the breathtaking preserved conditions that push this penny into elite territory. But the real tension begins now, because while millions of 1957 pennies exist, only a microscopic fraction carry the traits that transform them into high-value powerhouses. Imagine the thrill of realizing you might own one of those rare survivors. As we transition into Act 2, the story deepens. This is where mystery and excitement merge. Collectors and sellers across the country have reported jaw-dropping numbers as pristine or error-struck 1957 wheat pennies cycle through top auction houses. And if you're thinking, why would anyone pay nearly $1 million for a penny? Here's your pattern interrupt. Imagine paying rent with pennies. Now imagine paying for an entire house with one penny. That's the level of demand we're talking about. Many coins from this era suffered heavy circulation, scratches, corrosion, pocket wear, or simply vanished from existence. But when a flawless survivor appears, especially one with dramatic errors like double-die strikes, off-center imprints, or extremely sharp mint-state luster, collectors go to war for it. Bidding wars erupt, prices skyrocket, and someone walks away with a historical artifact that becomes the crown jewel of their wealth portfolio. The urgency is real because the market evolves quickly. A coin valued high today can attract even higher offers tomorrow as collectors compete fiercely to out-own one another. We now move into a section where the stakes rise. Let's talk about fear. Not the scary kind, but the energizing fear of missing out. Right now, thousands of Americans have inherited old jars, boxes, coffee tins, and dresser drawers filled with coins from parents and grandparents. Most of these people have no idea they may be holding generational wealth. The cliffhanger begins here, because somewhere out there, someone is watching this video while a valuable 1957 wheat penny sits quietly in a forgotten envelope. Could it be yours? Only you can answer that. Act 3 unfolds with power and clarity, celebrating the opportunity ahead. The current collector market is thriving, filled with buyers actively seeking early American cents, especially wheat pennies from the 1950s with rare features. The 1957 no-mint mark penny has already proven its strength with high-end sales climbing to astonishing numbers. And the best part? Coins don't just hold value, they grow in value. Your coin could be the one that changes everything. The lifestyle you dream about, financial freedom, comfort, travel, security, might be closer than you think. The journey begins with knowledge, and you've taken the first step just by watching this story unfold. As we approach the final moments, imagine the future. Picture yourself discovering that one brilliant coin among your collection. Picture the excitement, the racing heartbeat, the realization that history just paid you back. This is your moment to act, your cue to search, to evaluate, to take your old and rare pennies seriously. Before I reveal the final thought, here's one last pattern interrupt. If you're suddenly tempted to raid every piggy bank within a 5-mile radius, don't. Start with your own first. You never know what fortune has already placed in your hands. And now, the closing cliffhanger. In our next video, we uncover another coin, one even rarer, even more surprising, and even more life-changing than the 1957. A coin that many people own without realizing its potential value. The question is, will it be the one in your pocket? Stay tuned. Your wealth story may just be beginning. Imagine opening an old box of coins in the back of your drawer. A box you haven't touched in decades. And inside it, sitting quietly, is a penny so rare, so unbelievably valuable, that collectors are paying up to $965,000 for it. Yes, a single penny approaching $1 million valuation. Now here's the twist. This coin doesn't glitter like gold, it doesn't shine like a silver dollar, and it doesn't even look unusual at first glance. It's the 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny, and today we're diving deep into why this quiet little coin is turning ordinary Americans into wealthy storytellers overnight. Before we go further, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your change? Seriously, when did you last pick up a penny and actually look at it? If your answer is never, then buckle up, because by the end of this video, you'll be looking at every coin in your home like it's a winning lottery ticket. And if you think that sounds dramatic, well, wait until you hear what makes this penny worth nearly $1 million. But don't jump ahead. We're going to take this journey step by step, because the story behind this coin is as profitable as it is thrilling. Let's begin at the source. The year was 1958, and the United States Mint was transitioning toward the end of the iconic wheat penny design, a design that had run since 1909 and was about to give way to the Lincoln Memorial reverse. As with every major transition, collectors were watching the mint closely, but nobody expected what happened next. At a tiny number, so small that experts still debate the exact figure, of 1958 pennies left the mint with a critical, rare, and unbelievably valuable error. No mint mark, yes, but that alone isn't unusual for Philadelphia coins. The real treasure lies in the microscopic mistakes in die creation that slipped through inspection. These errors created a tiny handful of coins that the collecting world now considers among the crown jewels of modern American numismatics. And here's the part that should make your heart beat a little faster. These coins do not look wildly different. You won't find dramatic cracks or double head mistakes or missing faces. What you will find is a subtle, incredibly rare die error combined with extremely limited survival, a combination that sends collectors into bidding wars that have shattered price records. But wait, before you go sprinting to your sock drawer, let me drop a little cliffhanger here. Because the most shocking detail about the 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny is not the error itself. It's how unsuspecting sellers discovered theirs. Some found them in inherited collections. Others found them in jars. One collector even found his in a box he hadn't opened since childhood. Imagine sitting on nearly $1 million for decades without knowing it. Talk about a plot twist destiny wished you knew sooner. Now, why is this penny in such extraordinary demand right now? Simple, scarcity, and desire. Collectors aged 30 to 65, the very people building generational wealth, are now aggressively competing to own the rarest pennies in American history. These aren't hobbyists. These are investors. They know that rare coins, especially iconic errors, outperform markets, build legacy, and hold value even when the world gets uncertain. And in the middle of that unstoppable demand, the 1958 wheat penny error stands tall like a king. Now comes the part that turns excitement into opportunity, because right now, at this very moment, the current market valuation for a confirmed 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny error can soar as high as $965,000. That's not hype. That's not speculation. That's the reality of today's collector market. Think about what that number means. A single coin could pay off your home, launch your dream business, secure your retirement, or elevate your family into the lifestyle of freedom you've always imagined. But let me interrupt for a second because I know what you're thinking. Okay, but what are the odds I have one? And to that I say, what were the odds anyone had one? Yet people have found them, people like you. And here's the part that matters most. Every great collector success story begins the same way, with someone deciding to look. Someone deciding that wealth doesn't only come from Wall Street, but from hidden opportunities sitting right in front of them. Someone deciding that old and rare pennies aren't just pocket change. They're potential treasured, so yes, check your coins, check your jars, check your boxes, check anything that holds memories because those often hold value too. And remember this, extraordinary wealth rarely hides in plain sight. But today, it might be hiding in your hand. As we wrap this journey, let me leave you with a final cliffhanger, the kind that only real life can provide. Somewhere out there, another 1958 era penny exists. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe more. And right now, it's sitting quietly, waiting for the person who finally recognizes it. The only question left is, will that person be you? If you enjoyed this story and you're ready to explore more hidden value coins that can elevate your lifestyle and transform your financial future, make sure to stay connected. Your next $1 million discovery might be only one video away.